Hi, hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today is a beautiful Sunday and welcome to this bicycle vlog. Today we're going to talk about dating in Japan. I actually made a dating in Japan video before, but I thought maybe it would offend some people, so I just didn't use it. But I'm going to make it again and try to make it again and see if this time I don't think it's gonna offend anybody. So I guess I don't really have first-hand experience because I can't really say, because I haven't really dated in Japan actually. My girlfriend is from China, and I met her in China and we came here together. So I mean, I dated in China. I've been on a few dates in China, but I think I have a pretty general idea of how it goes here just by talking to other foreigners that I've met, other guys and gals that I've met in Japan, and I think it's pretty similar. I feel it's easier to date in Japan. And that's going for as a male. I don't really have first-hand experience as a woman, but I feel like it's, I think it's easier to date as a male than a female in Japan. Hold on, I'm trying to cross the street here. A lot of cars here. So where should I start? Trying to cross the streets. Maybe I'll just go through the small streets. I'm going to the grocery store right now, and oh, someone's burning some leaves or something. Japan itself, there's a lot of single people here, and so like dating in general, it's I would say it's easy and hard because if you don't put yourself out there, you won't meet anybody. So I believe if you put yourself out there in Japan, you'll be able to meet a lot of people. The thing is, in Japan, well, if you're just talking from a male's perspective, for now, usually women and men, I guess, live at home till well in their like 30s, some of them. So if you're dating a girl who's like in their mid-20s, they could be possibly living at home with their parents. So if they wanted to like move in together or something like that, I think it's not like, I don't think the parents would be too happy about that. So I believe a lot of people actually get married, and I've met a lot of guys here who have met their wives, like they've dated for like 2 years and then they get married. When I lived in China, it wasn't really like that. There a lot of the guys that were there were just kind of dating. But here it seems like a lot of guys get married very quick. And I think one of the reasons is for that, and this is just my theory, is because, after they date for like 2 years and they want to move in together, and if the guy's like in his mid-20s or 30s, and they probably can't like live together, they're probably going to get married. And it makes it much easier for the man as well, because, with the visa situation and everything too. So it just makes more sense. And it seems like here in Japan that people often do get to meet like in university, and they just get married and whatnot. And all the people who don't get, let's go through here, all the people who don't get married, and I feel like the women that don't get married are the ones who are like more goal driven. So they're very busy working and in their careers, so they don't get a chance to meet anybody. for men, I guess it's the same way too with men too, right? But after, you know, university, they don't get a chance to meet anybody else. I guess they can meet people in their workplace. But where am I going? But like, I think the best way to meet somebody, they have like this app called, oh, where am I going right now? They have an app here called Meetup, where you can meet up people. And I've done this before, where I think the one that I went to was like a photography meetup, and like people who are interested in photography, and you just meet other people who are in, you know, who have the same interest and hobbies. And Meetup is actually really popular in Japan. I think it's popular, and you get to meet other people. It's either that or Tinder, or you just meet random people like out in bars and stuff. But I feel, generally speaking, men and women are very easily approachable and will give you a chance. And I feel, me personally, I feel that Japan is more personality oriented than physically oriented. And I think that same goes for China as well. I think people are more for personality. I think that maybe they just get used to it. My theory is that, you know, when they grow up, you know, everyone is kind of like the same. Everyone wears the same uniform. You know, nobody's different. Everyone is kind of like the same. And also because everyone is Japanese or everyone's Chinese, everyone like looks the same, right? When you grow up, all the boys probably have the same haircuts. All the girls probably have the same styles. Everyone is copying each other. You know, it's very, you know, homogeneous. Is that the word? So, you know, what are you gonna, if you have all these people that look the same, like what are you gonna choose? You're gonna probably choose, you know, the personality. What is this person good at? And, you know, they're gonna more be in this way. And I think in Japan as well, I think people when people go for looks first, I feel you're kind of labeled as like superficial. But I mean, you know, I'm sure people do look for looks as well, but it seems to me people are more genuinely in for personality. So I mean, if you're a foreigner, especially if you're like a Caucasian white dude, I feel like it's easier to meet people, or meet girls actually. If you're a white guy meeting in Japan or anywhere in Asia, you're easy to meet people because, or meet girls because, you know, you're kind of different, you know, whereas in America or in Australia or whatever, you know, there's many Caucasian white people. So I feel like Japanese or Asian girls, they find that very unique. And also there's like this big thing in China too, like where mixed babies, oh look at this car, babies who are like mixed in race, a lot of women think that is maybe like very good, like because you get those kind of features in a baby. So I mean, not all Japanese girls are like this, but it just seems like that is kind of, it's not like they want it, they need it, but it seems to me like it's popular. So, and I think for me too, if you're like an Asian guy like me and I'm not really Japanese, I feel like I have a special advantage in Japan as well. And although I never dated before in Japan, I feel I do have that unique advantage. That cool car. There wasn't a, if you like cars, there's a Skyline right here. I think it's just a GT. But yeah, but I feel like for here's a story. When I first came to Japan, I met some coworkers and their friends, and I met like this white guy, and he was nice, and he was telling me how I don't know why, I just got here and he was just telling me how he's gone on so many dates with girls and have slept with them and all this stuff. And to me, he was just kind of like a normal looking, I would say even below average white guy from like back home, and he was American. And I mean, I don't want to offend anybody, but you know, I've had a lot of best friends who are white, like growing up. I grew up in different communities with different types of people, and like a lot of my real good friends were like white dudes, and they were good looking. They get a lot of girls back home, but this guy was not that, like, you know, he wasn't like a good looking dude. I mean, he was like he wasn't ugly, but he was just showing me all these like text messages that he's met in like girls that he's met in clubs, and they were really like raunchy comments, and I won't even mention it because it was really I can't even say, I don't think, on YouTube, because I think I'd get in trouble. But yeah, so you know, I think if you're like a foreigner coming to Japan and trying to date, I'm actually one of my other white friends, actually a really good friend of mine, he asked me too, like, how is the dating scene out here? And I think, you know, if you put yourself out there, you know, if you're a good guy, even if you're a bad guy, you go out there and you put yourself out there, you can meet a lot of women. And there's even like foreigner bars, especially for foreigners, and they'll have, because like not every Japanese girl wants to, you know, date a foreigner. You know, some Japanese girls like Japanese guys, so there are some like bars and clubs that you know that foreigners are going to be there, and then so you'll have a lot of women that are looking for foreigners, and they'll be at these types of bars and clubs looking for that attention. I think the term is called gaijin hunter. I think gaijin is kind of like a bad terminology for foreigner, I guess. The real way to say is gaigokujin, but I guess the bad terminology is gaijin, so they call them gaijin hunters. I think this was commonly used like 10 years ago, but I don't think people use that anymore. But so yeah, so you'll have people looking for foreigners and stuff like that. For women, I feel like in general, if you're a foreign woman, it's harder to meet guys, because I mean, and this is just from me talking to other foreign women, I feel like you know, unless you like Japanese guys, because some Japanese guys do like foreign women, like they particularly only like foreign women. I don't know, I mean, just like how Japanese girls like foreign guys, there's also Japanese guys that like only foreign girls. So it goes both ways. So yeah, like your options aren't, you don't have that many options if you're like if you're like a foreign woman and you want to, you know, date. Because I have a feeling most of the guys I meet, the foreign guys, they like Japanese women, so I think that's what they go for. And I think it's much harder like in foreign countries like US, like maybe like US or Australia, to meet, if you're like a white guy or Caucasian, I think it's harder to meet Asian girls, because Asian girls are more, Asian people in general are more like community, like they stick with their community, I guess. You know, I remember growing up, and I hung out with different types of people, but I knew a lot of Korean people that only hung out with Korean people, you know, or Chinese people that only hung out with Chinese people. So I think it's harder to mingle in that crowd when Asian people are more, you know, towards their community. So, you know, when you come out here, it's a lot easier to meet girls. So anyway, so foreign women, especially if you're like maybe a white girl, or I don't know, different types of foreign girls, I think you're the only choice you have, not only choice, but the most majority of the option is, you know, dating Japanese guys. And I feel it's it's tough for foreign girls in Japan to meet anybody. And another thing is language barrier. So you know, if you don't speak the language, it's harder to meet more people because you have all these single people, yet if you can't speak to them, you know, you're not gonna have that many choices. I feel like in China too, there were a lot of single women in China, and there's just so many people in China. Like the city where I was from, in Shanghai, there was 24 million people in one small city. I mean, in my city back home in Chicago, there's 4 million people. So half of the population, 24 million. I mean, there are more men than women in China, but if you cut half of 24, you know, you still have a lot of women in Shanghai. So there were a lot of single women in China. So for here too, I think in general, women like to get married more quick here. But recently I've been hearing, you know, of course, that there's a, you know, there's an aging problem in Japan where people are not getting married and not having babies. But I mean, you can't really see it, you know, it's hard to see that unless you have like the stats. But it seems like I mean, some of the girls that I've met who are like Japanese, they all seem to be not married, or like just like in between getting married, or, you know, a lot of girls that I've met like at work, or it's you know, at work, or just like, actually the girls I've met are at work, but most of them are either already married and have kids, or they're dating somebody to get married. So, but I know that I'm sure there's a lot of single people out there. Okay, I'm lost. I kind of want to go where that is, but I want to go back to where I was going. I'm going to the grocery store. So in general, I think it's pretty easy dating in Japan. And even if you were to just come here to visit, I feel like you can meet a lot of people. I mean, they have Tinder here, and they have where's this apartment? Yeah, I mean, they do have Tinder here, so you can probably meet somebody. And I feel like that's where a lot of foreigners go to, just from like people, like the foreigners that I've met here, I've heard them meeting their significant others, some of them on Tinder. So it is kind of like a popular place to meet people. I think like in America, it's more of like a hookup app. But in Japan, it's more of like people are looking for serious relationships, or for like foreigners to meet serious relationships. Or not foreigners, like Japanese people, I think. Because I think my ex-coworker, she also met her boyfriend on Tinder, and they were like already like planning to move in and stuff, and you know, it wasn't just like a hookup kind of thing. So yeah, so if you have any comments about what you think in Asia or in Japan, let me know. If there's anything else you want me to talk about, let me know. I think I'm lost. Yeah, I think I'm pretty lost. Is there anything that I missed? There's also one thing that I wanted to compare. I feel like yeah, there's one more important thing I wanted to add in. I feel like in America, just my feeling, you know, I feel like for an Asian guy, and I'm not that good looking, so I feel like it was harder for me to date as when I got older. When I was in high school, I used to date a lot of girls, a lot of Asian girls actually. I've only dated Asian girls, but oh, I think this is a dead end. But I feel like in America, where like like my friends who have dated and stuff like that, like from what I've like just kind of observed, is like women look for men who have, you know, like a good job, a good career. And I don't think that's a bad thing, because, you know, they want someone that they can support them, you know, of course. You know, they want to make sure that they have, I mean, it's not like the woman's not doing anything. I'm sure she has a good job as well, but I feel like they're looking more for like something like stability, like with all women. You know, I feel like they, of course, they want to meet somebody that can help support them. Oh, that's cool. This is where I need to go anyways. But I feel in Asia that, I mean, in China it definitely does, like more in the rich community, like that was like a really big thing. It's like if you have a house, if you have a car, then you're like a good candidate to get married. But it seemed like the general population, like the normal people, it seems like those kind of things don't really matter. Because I mean, like, you know, you can be a foreigner, teach English, and you meet somebody. I mean, granted that teaching English, you're probably making like the same as an average Japanese person makes, maybe less. So, you know, and you might probably not have a house or a car, but I don't think those are the things that the girls are looking for when they date a foreigner. And it's the same goes for if they were a girl, if it was like a guy foreigner or a girl foreigner. I don't think they're looking for that kind of stability. As to like in a Western country, they're looking for more of a guy who has like a really nice job, who may have a, you know, who has a car, who's kind of taking care of themselves. Like they want to make sure that they can be taken care of too. So I think those are kind of different as well. Just from my experience and from what I see, it just seems that way. It just seems like, you know, they're looking more for you know, quality in the person than quality in their life. And I don't know if I missed anything else, but that's what I have for now. You know, I'll probably make more topics like this in the future. Yeah, I don't really have a first-hand experience of dating in Japan, but I think I have a pretty good idea of what it's like just from talking to other foreigners that have been living here, women and men actually. And most of the women that I know are either, the foreign women are either single or dating Japanese guys. So I hope you enjoyed watching this video. There'll be more bicycle vlogs coming. If you have anything that you're wondering about or have questions about, please leave a comment below. Thank you for watching these bicycle vlogs, and have a good weekend. Goodbye. Or have a good week.